The family of a fraternity pledge at Clemson University who died last year is blasting the prosecutor and sheriff's office for publicly discrediting a new witness in the case. That witness says Tucker Hipps fell off a bridge while being hazed. But the sheriff's department says there are multiple issues with the witness's story, and the prosecutor will not file criminal charges based on the new information. The attorney for the Hipps family said this Friday, "We are surprised and disappointed by this statement. We believe that counsel making public comment on the credibility and substance of witness statements is both inappropriate and prejudicial. We could not disagree more." CNN's Sarah Ganem spoke with the family about the new witness.
This is a tragedy that happened almost a year ago. It's been a mystery for this family for 11 months. What happened to their son? Was he forced to jump over this bridge? Was he pushed over the bridge? The family has been looking for answers and really hoped that this new witness would bring them. The new witness coming forward saying that he saw a group of students on the bridge that morning with one of them walking along the narrow railing, leading the family in court documents to believe that Tucker was forced to walk on that railing. Here's what they wrote. They said Tucker slipped from the railing and caught the railing under his arms, tried to climb back onto the bridge unassisted, lost his grip on the bridge and fell headfirst into the water, striking his head on the rocks in the shallow water. Now, I just talked to the prosecutor in this case, and she said that this will not, in fact, lead to any new criminal charges. She said the sheriff's department thoroughly investigated and found that this witness was off about several things, like the color of the clothing that the students were wearing that day. She also said he wasn't sure about the day that he witnessed these students on the bridge, and records from the gym that he was visiting that morning show that he was not at the gym and was not crossing that bridge the morning that Tucker Hipps died. Of course, I talked to his mother, and this doesn't change much for her. She's still hoping for answers. Here's what she said. She said, "His dad and I miss him so terribly. He's still the first thing and the last thing we think about every day, and he is just terribly missed." Of course, the family has filed a lawsuit against the university, the fraternity, and 3 brothers claiming that they tried to cover up after Tucker fell off the bridge, even lying to his girlfriend about where he was that morning, telling her that he was seen in the library when in fact he wasn't, and waiting several hours to call police. The lawsuit also says the fraternity has a history of forcing pledges to jump over bridges and then swim to shore. And it also says that the brothers were upset with Tucker that morning because he didn't bring them McDonald's breakfast. Of course, all the defendants deny these allegations, and specifically one defendant who is a brother at that fraternity and the son of Representative John Carney. His attorney says he did not witness anything and does not know how Tucker went over that bridge. Of course, his family is still left wondering if he really died over some McDonald's breakfast. Sarah Ganem, CNN, New York.
All right, so after the new witness came forward, the Sigma Phi Epsilon fraternity released a statement saying, quote, "Sigma Phi Epsilon has recently been made aware of these new allegations attributed to an unnamed unknown witness. We intend to fully investigate these allegations as we have done previously. Our investigation has revealed absolutely no evidence of wrongdoing." Let's bring in our legal guys, Avery Friedman, a civil rights attorney and law professor in Cleveland. Good to see you.
Hi, Frederica.
And Richard Herman, a New York criminal defense attorney and law professor, joining us from Las Vegas. Good to see you as well.
Good morning, Fred.
All right, so Avery, you first. Is it inappropriate and even prejudicial for the prosecutor to say, based on what we've learned from this new eyewitness, there will be no charges? Is that appropriate?
I don't think it's inappropriate. The standards that the prosecutor needs, Frederica, will be to prove a criminal case beyond a reasonable doubt. There's a wrongful death case pending right now. That's a civil case. It's a very different standard of evidence. So while the prosecutor is certainly free to charge or not to charge, that $25 million wrongful death case over the loss of Tucker Hipps is going to be the way to get the facts. Remember, there were 30 people out there at 5:30 in the morning, and it's going to take more than one witness to make a difference. And so that's where the case is progressing. The wrongful death case was filed shortly after the death. That was last September. So we're going to get, hopefully, going to get to the truth.
So then, Richard, is it peculiar in your view, 30 people who are eyewitness, or perhaps 30 people who have been asked the questions by investigators, that this would not be a criminal investigation if indeed this pledge was challenged to get on this bridge, risk his life? I mean, what is needed to support a criminal investigation?
Well, Fred, there was a criminal investigation, and law enforcement interviewed all of the individuals who were out that evening or early morning, and they interviewed them and they compared their stories.
But no charges have been filed.
No charges, because they can't make a case. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove.
And I guess then that's a better way of asking the question, which is, what is needed in order to make that criminal case?
Good.
Well, you need an eyewitness to say they saw brothers there on the bridge ordering and directing him up on the ledge, and then you know, reckless conduct there causing him to fall. But they're not going to find that. They're not going to get that, Fred. And the issue against suing the university, and Avery was right, there's two different burdens of proof. Criminal, beyond a reasonable doubt. There's no way they're going to be able to bring criminal charges, and it's a tragic situation. I know the family wants closure, but there's not going to be a criminal case here. Civilly, can they bring the civil case? Sure, they can bring it, but are they going to be able to prove that as well? And, you know, against the university, Fred, all universities that have Greek life enact and promulgate rules and regulations prohibiting hazing. When they find incidents of it, they suspend the fraternities or expel them. And in this instance, they did suspend this fraternity from on-campus life for prior incidents. But so the university acted in good faith here and acted as a reasonable
Well, we don't know that yet. We don't know that yet.
Yes, we do. We know that.
Know
but
that.
Fred, these fraternities, some of them go back to the 1800s, and you can ban all the hazing you want, rules and regulations, but some of them are just not going to comply, and unless you ban Greek life in total on these universities, you are going to have some form of hazing.
So then Avery, Richard brought it up, you know, there, the burden of proof, but the burden of proof is different for a civil case than it would be for a criminal one. So what are the viable chances of this civil case, especially if you don't have the level of cooperation to help fill in the blanks, paint the picture about what really happened?
Well, we don't actually know that. We know that there's evidence of some of the members of this fraternity explaining various aspects of it. But remember, that standard is substantially lower, Frederica, than what's required in the criminal case. I actually think that once the plaintiff's lawyers get into what Clemson knew concerning bridge jumping, which is, as I understand, quite common there.
Right. Reportedly, there's a history of this happening.
Exactly. And then if the university knew, and if there's been obstruction, if there's been an effort to hide that evidence, that becomes part of the case. But we're right now in what's called discovery. The lawyers are digging up the information, finding out from the university, finding out from the fraternity what those facts are. We're going to be in a lot different position, you know, 3 months, 4 months from now, in getting the answers to what everybody wants to know.
Fred, the issue is what the university did in reaction to allegations of this type of behavior. What did they do? And here, they promulgated rules and regulations against it. They prohibited it. When they found out about it, they held administrative hearings, and they suspended and expelled fraternities. That's what a reasonable university should do, Fred. This university is not going to have liability in this case. Question is, will the fraternity?
I don't know how you can say that at this point. I just don't know how you can say that.
All right. Well, this investigation is still in its infancy, at least in that case. All right. Thanks so much, Richard Herman, Avery Freeman. Good to see you guys. Thanks so much.
I see you. Take care.
All right. We'll be right back.